The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene's alongside. It is a Friday morning here in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. And today we're going to get into the fantasy football favorites and fades for the West divisions in football. The NFC, AFC West. That coming your way right here. Thank you for tuning in with us. Be sure to like, share, and follow the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. And, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. All the individual team content continuing to roll out here from our best worst-case scenario videos, as well as we'll have all of these division faves and fades coming out as well over the weekend. Now, obviously, breaking news just before we go on the air here, the Cleveland Indians are no longer going to be the Cleveland Indians. They have announced that they will now be the Cleveland Guardians. I just want to know, are they connected with the
Guardians of the Galaxy? Do they have the big? They have the fucking talking squirrel or whatever the hell it is?
It's Trash Panda, and that was my question. Are they now hooked up with the Rocket City Trash Pandas of the minor league baseball system? I think that needs to be a thing now.
They don't have that talking squirrel. It's bullshit.
Of course, and when you want to rehab your image, what do you do as any smart business? You get Tom Hanks to do your intro video.
That's the first time I've seen him. I actually thought he was on an island in the Caribbean somewhere.
Tom Hanks talking about we are going to protect everything that we have earned. Everything you've earned, like all those World Series championships that you what? I did like the little we are a city of fire and water. Is that a nod to the time that the Cuyahoga River caught on fire? Is that I always thought that was a bad thing that Cleveland didn't want everybody to know about. But anyhow, Cleveland Guardians. There you have it. Have you seen our new bling? Have you seen
what?
The new bling?
No.
Them cannons, by golly, put more powder in those things.
Yeah. How you like them rings?
Oh,
319 diamonds. The damn thing covers your whole hand almost. You almost need two fingers to put it in there. They also did a little thing with the Super Bowl rings where you could take the top off of it, and there's a little etching of Raymond James Stadium underneath, celebrating the first Super Bowl victory in a home stadium in NFL history. It was nice.
I've never gotten into them.
I think I saw.
I love the rings. I've never gotten into. Oh, look, this one's got 319 diamonds.
And that's weird. You're the jewelry guy.
I am. I love the rings. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't care what they look like.
You just don't care what they look like. It was phenomenal. I love it. Seeing for the first time in ring form the two Lombardi trophies behind the Tampa Bay logo. It kind of touches me in a special place.
Keep talking. We got something happening.
If you can make Tom Brady shed a tear he's already got 6 of these rings, and I felt like he was very impressed last night with everything that was going on. Anyhow, fun things going on here in the Wicked Weed studio this morning. Thank you for turning that off. That was going to be annoying me throughout the entire show. Welcome. Everybody into the comments. Oh, the Olympics. The Olympics kicked off. We didn't even know it. Yay, Olympics.
You said didn't care wrong.
The Olympics opening ceremony was this morning at like 6 a.m. I am excited about that because I'm an Olympics junkie. When the Olympics are on, they're going to be on all weekend long. Oh, I just had a great thought. My family's going to be out of town this weekend, and I'm just going to be at home just watching the Olympics, working on putting some videos out on
just
the YouTube channel.
The Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that sounds awful.
Oh,
Everything you just said sounds terrible.
This is what I look forward to now, is in as an old man when you get a couple of days away from your family. All I want to do is mow the grass. I might take a little swim in the neighborhood pool, and I'll watch some Olympics and do some work.
You're going to get into the archery?
Woohoo! Look, my private life can't be as exciting as some others, but I am going to look forward to having some fun tonight down in Black Mountain at Silverado's. If you are in town, this is the concert to see of the 2021 Outdoor Concert Series. Tonight is the Summerland Tour, Everclear, Living Color, Hoobastank, Wheatus, all hitting the stage at Silverado's tonight. So if you're in town, that's definitely something that I would recommend that you come out for. We will all be there hanging out, just smashing some beers, enjoying some freedom, and rocking out like it's 1995.
We will both be there. Hot wife Amy will be there. There are going to be a lot of people there.
Yes.
If you like Asheville radio, it's going to be a hell of a day to be around, because I think all of us are going to be there.
We will, because it's Everclear, man. And I can't believe that I had to play you songs to even get you to remember who Everclear was.
Secret time? I don't give a damn about Everclear. That's not why I'm going.
You're going for Living Color.
Cult of Personality is my walk-up song when I do stand-up. I
forgot
legally
about that.
must. There's no. I must be there.
And you can tell them. You can tell them and say, hey, this is my walk-up song. Now don't sue me.
Well, they can't sue me. That's not exactly how that works. But ideally, I could find a way to get them to do a small version of it just for me. Mm-hmm. And that would make me very happy. Not going to happen, but I would love for it to.
Yeah. Yeah, Living Color. Like I have said before, I have seen Living Color before. I'm really excited about the Everclear, because that was one of those bands that I had I bought 4 of their albums back in the day. Rocked them hard in high school and early days of college. Everclear's my jam. So anyhow, get out to Silverado's tonight. SilveradosWNC.com is the website. Get your tickets there or on eTix as well. Like I said, we'll all be there. If you're
there, come on up and say hello.
Oh, no doubt.
Say howdy.
No doubt.
He's not hard to find. He has the biggest beer in the whole building. At a concert, the biggest beer in the whole building will be right beside me.
Yep.
Well, not quite. Those big Deuce beers they're a little bigger than that.
Oh yeah, they sell those tall boys. So yeah. Anyhow,
which means Tank can smell one of them and need a ride home.
It's not that bad, but once they start bringing around the Jell-O shots,
do they do
yes,
that?
they do that. They do that at Silverado's. It's a private club, baby. You're out in the crowd, and this lady will come around with a little tray, and you just snatch up some Jell-O shots, have you a good old hootenanny. I guess what? You didn't know that?
Nope, I didn't. I've never seen the Jell-O shot person. But I have a feeling I will get to know her quite well this evening.
Well, you already know her, but it's okay. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, which thankfully she'll never watch this video. But she's one of Corey's waitresses. I can't remember her name.
When I see her, I'll tell you.
You will. You'll be like, that's so and so. You've met her 8 million times, and you still don't know her name.
That's why you're going to be sitting around watching the Olympics, because you've already forgotten damn near everything that you've ever known.
Pretty much.
Wah, wah, wee, wah.
Pretty much. Let's get into some fantasy football. The faves and fades for fantasy football in 2021. We are rolling through here division by division, and today we're doing the AFC West and the NFC West. Of course, in the AFC West, there's a lot of faves to have at the top of the AFC West, because it's a pretty exciting division with the Kansas City Chiefs there. All right, 2021 fantasy faves and fades for the Kansas City Chiefs. My favorite is Miko Hardman. He's the one guy that I think is just being left out. He's being forgotten. I get that his stats haven't really popped off the page in the last 2 years of his career.
Because he's been at best the third wide receiver on this team at all times.
There is no Sammy Watkins now, so his usage is going to go up. He saw fewer than 5 targets in 11 out of 16 games last year. I don't think that's going to happen with him being the actual number 2 receiver on this team.
I don't either. This offense is good enough to uphold 2 fantasy-relevant wide receivers, the number 1 tight end, and a running back that is fantasy-relevant, even though neither of us like him.
Yeah. Hopefully, Andy Reid has learned over this offseason that things need to change with his workload. He only played 44% of the snaps last year. That's not going to happen again this year. And on those 44% of the snaps last year, he caught 5 touchdown passes. It wasn't bad. And he has great hands and blazing speed. I watched this kid at Georgia, and I've been in love with him and waiting for him to get his opportunity in the NFL. I think his opportunity is this year. This is the Miko Hardman breakout year.
Here's the one thing that I will say scares me about Miko Hardman.
Okay.
I don't mind him. Here's the one thing that scares me. Last year, Travis Kelsey had 146 targets. Tyreek Hill had 134. Who was next on the team?
Next on the team? I would have to say it's probably Demarcus Robinson. No.
He's 4.
I'm guessing it's not the guy we're talking about. So
no, it is. That's the point. That's the whole point I was trying to make.
Okay.
He was number 2 in targets last year. They spread the ball around. When you have a tight end that's serving basically as your de facto wide receiver 1, that basically makes Miko Hardman the 3. I don't know how much the workload's going to go up. He has an ability to home run hit. If you go back to 2019, Kelsey had 136 targets. Nobody on the team had more than 90. And Tyreek Hill missed games. He was the one, or Sammy had 90, Tyreek Hill had 88. And they both missed games.
Yep.
And in the games that the other missed, the one that played had a shitload. I don't know that I'll be able to get to Miko Hardman anywhere in drafts just solely because I haven't seen this offense do that. I haven't seen them have that second wide receiver. For me, the fave is pretty damn easy. The guy I've said it's him no matter what.
Travis
Kelsey. He's the most consistent tight end in the world ever.
Yeah.
He's the guru son of tight ends.
And there's no way he doesn't live up to a first-round pick.
Hurt. That's it. The only way Travis Kelsey's not the number 1 tight end in fantasy football is if he gets hurt.
Yep.
His floor is higher than any other tight end's ceiling. And I am including Kittle and Waller and whoever the hell else you want to throw into this. Kyle Pitts. His floor is higher than their ceiling.
Spicy hot take there.
Spicy.
Just a spicy hot take there. There's not a whole lot not to like about the Kansas City Chiefs, except for their running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the fade for both of us.
And it's an easy fade for me.
Well, I mean, look, everybody wants to point to how well he did in the first 6 games of last year. He was running back number 11 through the first 6 games of last year. And then they went out and they got Le'Veon Bell. And
here's the thing about that 6 games, and it blows my mind that I'm still having to say this because I keep hearing what you just said. He had 161 yards against the Buffalo Bills. He had 138 yards against the Houston Texans.
Yep.
He didn't have more than 64 yards against any other team in that 6 games that you're trying to sell me how good he is.
Yeah.
He's not good. If you listen to our draft coverage 2 years ago, I told you this. I am avoiding him like he's on fire. I'm avoiding him like he has something that I will contract if I draft him.
He's not a piece that I want. If you want him, you got to take him in the 2nd round.
Out.
Done. There will be no path to me having any Clyde Edwards-Helaire anywhere.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Where does he rank for you among running backs? We've said 100 times, every player has a value eventually.
Yes.
Where does he rank for you?
Let me look here. So you're saying where would I feel comfortable drafting him?
Consensus has him about 15.
I would say once you start to get down to the
Where's the line?
Raheem Mostert round, like
I'd rather have Raheem Mostert.
Like the 5th round. At that point, it would be that's
Still
dumb.
Still out.
Really?
I'm still out.
Okay.
If he's better than my 4th running back, I've done it wrong. I will let one of you fall on that landmine because he'll have 3 good games all year long. I am so just. I'm trying to come up with a path where I would take him. Like, I'm looking at my rankings right now. He's consensus number 15.
Yes.
Where do you think I have him?
Oh, let me guess. 28.
You're too high.
30.
31 for me. He's running back 31 for me. Here's why. Because people get that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has now, he's gotten his own theory. He's a best ball running back. That's what he is. It's the Clyde Edwards-Helaire theory. He will have 4 games a year that you go, yeah, he's the man. And every other week, he's going to take a running back spot and be a big old turd burger. That's what he is. That's what he is.
Congratulations, Jason Trump. He nailed it in the comments. 31.
Did he say 31?
He said 31.
That is a guy who has listened to a lot of our show.
Right. To me,
I believe I've said that one time before.
Right, to me, Clyde Edwards-Helaire does not belong in the first 4 rounds of a draft. I will say if there's some chance that everybody else is as down on him as I am and we get into the 5th round, then I'll go, yeah, that's probably a pretty good value for him right there.
Let me
but it's not going to happen.
In PPR.
Yes.
He's a much better PPR running back than he is standard. How many games did Clyde Edwards-Helaire have last year where he scored more than 15 points? Which 15's not all that good, by the way.
4.
Yeah, it's 4. 4 of 13 did he have more than 15. And you had to play him every week because you invested such high draft capital in him. It's not good. It's just not good. Give me a running back, any running back that you think's in the tier of where he will be drafted. Somebody that people are like really down on.
Josh Jacobs.
Damn it, that's not the one I thought you were going to say. So
lots of people are down on Josh Jacobs.
That's not who I thought you were going to say. And damn it, I opened another one.
Swift.
Miles Sanders is who I was going to go.
Oh, okay.
How many games do you think Miles Sanders had where he had 15 or more points in PPR? By the way, missed 3 games, just like Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I'd say.
And everybody said, oh, he sucks. Miles Sanders sucks so fucking much.
8?
It's the same number.
Oh, it's the same number.
It's the same number. Josh Jacobs, since you said that one, I got to go back and open him up.
I don't know that you're going to like this game with Josh Jacobs.
I already know I am because I owned him in a bunch of places.
Okay, all right.
Go! God, internet drives me crazy. How many games over 15 fantasy points did Josh Jacobs have?
4. 5.
Guess what? In the games that he had more than 15, he had more than 21 in every freaking one of them.
Yep.
All of them. If he had more than 15, he had 21 or more.
Yeah.
Including a game with 36 and another one with 30. Yeah, it's to me, if I get on the clock and it's Josh Jacobs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I will literally flash myself to the Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
And then if we come back around later and Miles Sanders is still there, I'll do it again. I will have Clyde Edwards-Helaire on no teams.
I won't either. You look at the entire group that's around him in ADP. It's Joe Mixon, who I would have.
Jason Trump did get that. Did you see the second thing he said?
No.
Just in front of Zach Moss. Guess who my 32 is? Zach Moss. Jesus Christ, I think Jason Trump is reading he's reading my thoughts.
I think he's got the screenshot of the running backs video that we did.
Maybe, but I've changed my rankings since then. So.
Okay. He's just inside your head. Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Miles Sanders. It's when you get to like Chris Carson, David Montgomery.
Let me play
I would take all of those guys ahead
all
of
them. There's no doubt about that. At least for the two of us.
Yeah.
If you want to fall on the Clyde Edwards-Helaire grenade, you have fun. I don't care. Oh, but there's no Damien Williams and there's no Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell had like 40 carries the entire time he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. And they do have running backs that they like. You might not like them, but they do. Let's play again.
Okay.
You can have Clyde Edwards-Helaire or the player I'm getting ready to that I'm getting ready to say.
Okay.
I want to know where your line is. Damien Harris.
I
knew you were going to say that. That was to me that was the layup. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. And in this scenario, you're taking them both.
Oh, I'll take the tandem.
There you go.
I'll take
because I know I'm going to wind up with starting running back in Denver, and one of them is going to get more touch.
Yes.
James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Take him.
Here's the one that I don't know how you'll answer it. Myles Gaskin.
I'd go see EH.
That's where I'm at.
I would go see EH over Myles
Gaskin is my
Gaskin.
line. There's one more that I don't know. I didn't know what your answer would be.
Okay.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Daryl Henderson? We're going to disagree. I can already feel it. I can already feel that we're going to disagree.
I'm going to say CEH.
I'm going to say Daryl Henderson. It's not even close.
Really?
It's not even close.
I don't know what that's going to look like yet. We'll
exactly.
get to the Rams later on.
Exactly. I don't know what it's going to look like either. I know what this is going to look like, and I would rather not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not even close. He's the one thing on this offense that you can go, yeah, that's not great. We could change that and be better. The rest of it all works. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, Miko Hardman, Tyreek Hill. Give me all of that. I will take all of the shares that I can in the Kansas City Chiefs except for the running back position.
Yep.
2021 Fantasy Faves and Fades in the AFC West. The Chargers. It's the team that I fear that I've overblown so much this year.
Superchargers. Hey, at least you went real spicy with your.
I did. I went Travis Kelsey on this one with you. The Los Angeles Chargers. Austin Eckler. I have been a huge fan of Austin Eckler since Melvin Gordon was still in town. And I have been riding this horse, and I'm not going to get off of it. I understand that he missed 6 games last year with the quad injury. I don't care, because before that, he missed 2 games in 3 seasons. This guy he's not an injury-prone running back. He's getting a lot of that now because of the 6 games that he missed last year.
Because that's what people do. It's the most recent thing that you've seen.
He played 8 full games with Justin Herbert last year. This is the one thing that I love so much about Austin Eckler is his pass-catching ability. In 8 games last year with Justin Herbert, he saw 63 targets. If you extrapolated that out over a full season, that'd be 126 targets. Now, do I think he's going to get 126 targets? No, I do not. But he does a lot with every touch that he gets. And, oh, by the way, do you have any idea who his offensive coordinator is now? It's Joe Lombardi from the New Orleans Saints. I think he's done pretty well with pass-catching running backs. Alvin Kamara, remember him? Darren Sproles, you worked with him as well. I could very well see Austin Eckler being maybe not as good as Alvin Kamara at his highest point. But it's going to be close.
Here's my problem.
In my opinion.
Here's my problem.
Yep.
Eckler played 10 games last year. How many games in PPR did he have more than 20 points?
2.
3.
Okay.
Now, look who you're having to. Who would you take him ahead of?
Who would I take him ahead of?
What's your line? Obviously, you're not taking him ahead of McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor. What about Nick Chubb?
No, I would take Chubb before him.
Aaron Jones.
He would be right ahead of him. I think my line's after that. So
he's right ahead of Aaron Jones for you.
Yes.
Okay. Here's my problem with that. Looking at Aaron Jones, and now look, I've said I don't look for necessarily. I don't disagree with you. First of all, before I say this,
Okay.
Aaron Jones in a straight dead split with Jamal Williams, he had the same number of 20-point games that Austin Eckler did. Now, granted, he only missed 2 games. Eckler missed 6, so that was in 4 more games. I just look at Jones and go, your floors are equivalent. And he has a high gear, the 42-point game against Detroit, the however many he had against Carolina, because it was a lot.
Right.
I don't see that out of Eckler. I don't think he's ever going to be that because he's never going to be given the carries between the tackles. And that makes me nervous. A guy I didn't ask you about, Ezekiel Elliot.
Oh, I would take Zeke before Austin Eckler.
Before Dak went down, the 5 full games that Zeke played with Dak Prescott, Zeke had 2 games that were 22 or higher. And the others were shootouts, and he didn't get the – one of them he had 22 carries, and he wasn't super effective.
Right.
And he had the fumbles. And then the other 2, he had 12 and 14 carries. I don't look for that to happen a lot. I would take Ezekiel Elliott over Austin Eckler.
I would as well.
You would take Zeke over Eckler?
Yes.
Now, that surprises me. I did not think that's what you were going to say.
Yes, I would. I think Austin Eckler is at the back end of the top tier of running backs. I know you have smaller tiers than I do.
Much. Yeah, because
my
Dalvin
tiers
Cook and Christian McCaffrey are in one by themselves.
Right. But my tiers are essentially rounds, and I think if you're at the back half of the first round, you're dumb if you pass up on Austin Eckler.
Here's where I get into a problem. I think that tier that you're talking about, it's the Aaron Jones. I have Zeke in the tier above them. But the Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, I say all 6 of those guys the same way. If I take Travis Kelsey in the first round, my objective is to wind up with 2 of the guys I just said. That's what I want to do. I want one of them in the second round, one of them in the third round. And what's usual, and Josh Jacobs is on the backside of that too.
The thing that pushes Eckler above all those guys for me though is competition. All those other guys have competition.
So does Eckler.
Eckler
does too. He has
Justin
competition.
Jackson.
No, Justin Jackson may not make this team.
And
Larry Roundtree. Larry Roundtree is going to get more tote than you think.
Sure.
He's going to be and see, that's the problem for me is that I can't take my number 1 running back, be a guy that I'm damn near positive is going to get vultured at the goal line. Because yes, Eckler has these high gears and he can take, he's a PPR monster and he catches all these passes and he can take things to the house from 60 yards out.
Yep.
I get that.
Yep.
He also could be sitting at the 1-yard line and they bring in Larry Roundtree or Justin Jackson or the third running back whose name, Joshua Kelly. Swear to God, I'm gonna write that on this fucking table because I can't remember his name to save my life.
Joshua Kelly.
That's my fear with Eckler. That's why I would take all of those guys over him.
Okay.
Eckler's another guy that I probably won't have anywhere. The guy that I'm drunk on is Josh Palmer. Maybe the fact that I'm just buried in dynasty mode right now is swaying me.
The kid from Tennessee.
Because here's what I know definitively.
Okay.
Mike Williams one time sneezed and above shitting his pants, he also hurt himself and missed 6 weeks.
And he broke something.
Every time he takes a real good yawn, he strains something. So I'm out on Mike Williams. If something happened to Mike Williams, I firmly believe Josh Palmer would be the 2. In this offense, 2 wide receivers can survive. Especially now that there's no Hunter Henry, because I am dead out on Jared Cook.
Right.
Now, if they would do what I've said forever and play Donald fucking Parham, he's Darren Waller too.
Jared Cook is my fade from this offense.
He is mine too.
I like everybody else. I like Mike Williams. I had deeply considered making Mike Williams my favorite here. Keenan Allen, he's steady as can be. If you've got the chance to get him, you're absolutely going to go get him. Justin Herbert, I think his ADP right now is perfect. He's like right in that 6, 7, 8 range.
I can't get there.
I can.
I can't get there with Herbert. I don't hate it. I'm not going to fault you if you do it.
Right.
You're having to take him right around Russell Wilson. And nope. No, sir. I don't like it.
I won't be making that decision. But
a lot of people are, though.
A lot of people are. I think on one of the ADPs I was looking at this morning, he actually is 1 spot ahead of Russell Wilson.
And let me give you look. We all know I'm a big fan of analogies. I like analogies.
Yep.
Russell Wilson is like the stone cold 8 at the bar that has already told you, if you want this, you got this.
Yes.
Justin Herbert's the 9 cocktail waitress that may or may not give me the time of day in a wine shop. I'm going to stick with that 8 that's already whispered weird shit in my ear, which is Russell Wilson. Not saying that you couldn't go right with Justin Herbert. I'm just, bird reference. I like the one in the hand as opposed to the one that might let me touch her bush.
The analogies always get good with you. I love that.
Bush references with a Manscaped promo right underneath me.
No, Jared Cook is no doubt the fade in this offense. Everybody else you have to like. I'm gonna say this again. Who's the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers?
And I think you're overvaluing that.
It's Joe Lombardi.
I think you're overvaluing that.
I'm overvaluing that Joe Lombardi helped bring Jared Cook there. He knows what he can do. He liked the way he used him in New Orleans.
I fault none of those things.
Playing him 46% of the snaps.
That's not what I said. You're overvaluing the Joe Lombardi thing. Joe Lombardi's already been an offensive coordinator one time, and it was a fickin' disaster.
Okay.
I mean, a fickin' disaster. He was the coordinator of the Lions, and it was brutal. I saw Gray Ford in the comments at some point. Gray, you've been a Lions fan for a long time. You care to comment how bad this went? Because a lot of people down here in the South don't remember this. I do.
When was this?
2014.
Okay. Did he have good weapons there other than Matt Stafford?
I'm not saying he did. Let's be really honest about what he's got in San Diego. He's got charges
in Los Angeles.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles. These are not easy weapons to deal with. Keenan Allen is a straight slot guy. That's not as overly athletic as Michael Thomas is. Love the guy. It's kind of hard to scheme around. You don't. If something happened to Mike Williams, you don't really have outside weapons that scare me.
Yeah.
And then it gets very bunch it in, keep Eckler from killing me kind of offense. Now, and I'm not sure that Joe Lombardi's a good enough coordinator to do that.
Now, one of the articles I was reading this morning about Mike Williams, considering making him my favorite, was that they said that he's expected to take the Mike Thomas role in Joe Lombardi's offense.
No, that will be Keenan Allen. I don't know who said that, but that person is out of their ever-loving fucking mind.
That's why I wanted to throw it out here, because you can find misinformation everywhere.
That's in the words of the 45th President of the United States, it's fake news. If you listen to it, you're a damn fool.
I agree. That's why
Mike Williams is an outside receiver.
From
Michael Thomas is a slot receiver. Keenan Allen's a slot receiver.
Right. I pulled back from that going, I don't think that's how that's going to work. But I'm glad you could put that to rest.
Gray Ford commented and said, we had conservative Caldwell, and he got fired.
Yeah.
Bingo. Here's the thing. The Chargers right now have Brandon Staley. Do you think he's going to be high-flying as a defensive background head coach coming into this team, knowing all the toys he's got on defense? He has the Chargers have more toys on defense than you think. Here's the thing. I need to say this just solely because anybody that's swooping in for the first time to hear this, I'm super high on the Chargers.
Yes.
I'm not sure I'm going to be super high on them for fantasy purposes because I just feel like it's a pie that's getting cut in a lot of places, and nobody's getting just a big old daddy piece of pie. I think it's a lot of little slivers that you can't even put a scoop of ice cream on.
Yeah.
And that's my fear.
Jared Cook is being drafted right now as a tight end 2. And I think even that's too much.
I'm gonna will this into existence. I'm gonna do it.
Donald Parham.
Donald Parham! He's 6'8" and can fly. He doesn't have the greatest hands I've ever seen in my life, but who gives a shit? How do you defend him?
If I'm going to draft 2 tight ends, which I normally don't do, I would much rather take Zach Ertz, who's going after him, just on the chance that wherever he's going to end up. Do we still believe he's going to end up in Buffalo? Zach Ertz?
Kinda. We have breaking news.
Oh.
Michael Thomas will miss the beginning of the 2021 season.
Really?
That changes a lot of things.
Yes, it does.
Because now I hate James Winston.
What's wrong with
Who's he have to throw to? He had surgery to repair the ligaments in his ankle in June. Recommended recovery time is 4 months. Holy shit. That put him out until, at best, October.
No kidding.
He missed half the season.
Wow. You still want to stick with that whole...
Oh, God. Well, now that becomes the big question of where would you take Michael Thomas? And I got news for you.
Yeah.
You let him fall to me in like the 10th round, thinking he's going to miss half the year?
Yeah.
I buzzed myself and
Yeah.
Howard deemed myself at the same time. Yeah, that's going to be a strategy that Jeremy uses in more than one place. You mark my words.
I think the buzzer and the scream is a bad omen for you.
Well, no, it's because I have big fat fingers and it's easy to hit that stupid button because I was aiming for the other one.
Okay, now will you allow me to take back the Saints over Falcons bet? Oh, come on.
No. Oh, wait. Let's ask Buffalo Bill what he thinks. No, Holy shit, the Saints are going to be brutal. I don't know that I've ever swayed my opinion on a team as much based on a damn receiver as I'm about to. I'm looking at their schedule. I'm trying to find a game they can win.
Mm-hmm. There's not one?
Not until they play the Falcons. They'll be winless. Here's the thing. Michael Thomas may not play a game this year.
Why?
Because if that recovery time is as long as they're saying, they'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll be 0-7 by the time he comes in. And I'm telling you right now, there's 5 of those games. They ain't got a snowball's chance in hell of winning.
They got Green Bay, Carolina, Patriots.
Loss.
Giants.
Panthers and Patriots are on the road.
Yeah. Giants.
That's the one you might win, but good hell, you're going to be. It is in the dome. All right, I'll give you that one. The fighting Kadarius Toney.
They're at the football team.
Loss.
Then a bye week. Then at Seattle.
Loss.
Then at home against Tampa Bay.
Loss.
Mother of Lord.
Best case scenario. They're 1-6. And I don't know that they bring Michael Thomas back into that.
Does he want to at that point?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Thank you, Kevin Vick, for the breaking news.
Good night. Well, that's great for the Carolina Panthers, and it's good for Jeremy's bet where he said that the Falcons will finish over the Saints. I guess I can go ahead and chalk that one up as a loss.
Never doubt the Moulet.
Damn, this year's starting off wonderful for me, isn't it?
Well, I mean, most years finish wonderful, so this one started so bad, then it's only going to get worse.
Talking 2021.
By the end of this season, he may have ceded his spot to the doll. There's a doll sitting behind him. That might be my new partner by the end of this for fantasy football.
2021 fantasy football faves and fades. The Las Vegas Raiders. Here's a shocker of shockers for you, Jeremy. My favorite is Derrick Carr.
You're not allowed. Nope, you're not allowed. You talk shit about him, you're not allowed on the bandwagon.
I do. But here's the thing. Right now, his ADP is QB 25.
Which is so stupid.
The upside is so phenomenal. I mean, I will not be shocked if he finishes as quarterback 13, 14 this year. I would say that's probably best case scenario for him. And that chance is worth it for me. To take him
where he finished last year?
Where did he finish?
Take a guess.
16.
You're too low. He was 13.
Okay.
He was quarterback 13. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's probably his floor.
That's the floor?
Mm-hmm. Because that team's going to throw a lot.
They will. I mean, they will test Henry Ruggs. Everybody has talked about how Henry Ruggs didn't have a great rookie season. Mm-hmm. He got overshadowed by Nelson Aguilar, of all people, in that offense.
Who's more talented, Henry Ruggs or Nelson Aguilar?
It's Henry Ruggs.
By a lot.
It's not. And
if he's healthy, they're fine.
Oh, he's healthy. Derrick Carr speaking the other day about Henry Ruggs, it was like he had found a new boyfriend.
I mean, here's the thing.
He came in
He has
looking,
to stay healthy, though.
Yeah. But he came in looking more muscular, looking trim, looking fast. He said, Derek Carr said it looked like something had finally clicked in with Henry Ruggs. And so they're expecting big things this year. And when you got a guy like Henry Ruggs who can stretch the field, and you got one of the best deep ball passers in the league, I like the upside for a guy who's being drafted in the 16th round, 15th round, something like that. I'm all the way in. There's great value to me in Derek Carr. You're obviously not going to draft him as your number one quarterback.
I'm not averse to it.
I don't know that I really.
Nope.
I don't know
I'm
that
not averse to it. What I said yesterday of one of my favorite builds is I take Kirk Cousins and back him up with Trey Lance and Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. I'm not averse to doing the same thing with Derrick Carr. I think I like Cousins better, but I'm not averse to it with Derrick Carr.
I would not. I think he's a great choice for a backup. I wouldn't draft him as my QB1, but he is a QB2 that, to me, could have upside as a QB1. Mm-hmm. So there you go. I've finally said something nice about Derrick Carr. Are you happy,
and
Raiders
the Raiders
fans?
When you told me this morning, I thought I'd had a stroke.
Your favorite?
It's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is not all that close. Mm-hmm. Everybody's freaking out about the Kenyon Drake thing.
Yep.
Stop that.
It's hard to stop that. See, Josh Jacobs is my fade because of the Kenyon Drake thing. Kenyon Drake coming in, they paid him money, and it wasn't grand money, but they paid him a pretty hefty salary, and they're pretty much the same guy statistics-wise, or were last year anyway.
Statistics-wise, don't tell you the whole story.
I understand.
They're invested in Josh Jacobs. Mm-hmm. They are not invested in Kenyon Drake. It's a little amount of money. He's good. Kenyon Drake will be the spellback. Let me ask you a question. Josh Jacobs played 15 games last year. Mm-hmm. He averaged about 17 carries a game. Mm-hmm. Do you see a path that he doesn't do that this year? Is there a path where he does not average 17 carries a game this year?
I don't think so.
Okay. In standard last year, he was running back 8, and he missed a game. Mm-hmm. PPR, he was a little lower because he didn't catch a lot. Nope, no, he wasn't. He was running back 8 in PPR as well.
But some of that can be skewed. Let's use the Clyde Edwards-Helaire example here. I mean, some of that gets skewed by his big weeks that he had.
He only had a handful of it. I mean,
right, he had 5. He had like 5.
One really big.
Yeah, the week 1 where he scored 3 touchdowns let everybody go, oh, I got Josh Jacobs on a deal this year. And then, he was good to start 5 other weeks about 5 other weeks.
He was a startable running back in the 15 games that he played, all but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he had 9 startable games. Mm-hmm. He's a guy you're getting in the 3rd round right now. Mm-hmm. All the way in.
I would just temper my expectations for those big boom weeks, knowing that it's already an up and down thing. Now you're adding another running back in here.
There's always been another running back. That's always been a thing. Mm-hmm. Whether it was DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard, there's always been another running back. That's never going to stop.
But do you not?
But now it's a name that you know. Mm-hmm. I think they're just going to run more. Now that you have Henry Ruggs that can take the top off the defense, you have Darren Waller that can do the same thing. It should open running lanes. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do with Nelson Aguilar and Hunter Renfrow. That's why they brought in Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all in on Jacobs. I'll have him everywhere. I got him in the 4th round about a week ago, and laughed all the way to the bank. He's my 3rd running back. All right, get Travis Kelsey in that league. Still pissed.
He's again. This is another team where this is I'm high on Derrick Carr for the value late in the draft. Darren Waller's obviously, got to be a target in the first 3 rounds if you're going with the I have to have a difference-making tight end strategy, which I have adopted and I think is a good way to go. But then Henry Ruggs is going too late. He's a great value. The other receivers, I won't have any pieces of except for in really deep leagues. Josh Jacobs is the one draftable guy that I can look at on this offense and go, there's a chance. There's a chance that the competition with Kenyon Drake might be too much. He may, he's already not used a lot in the passing game, but it might get worse for him. So he's the one fade that I have.
Darren Waller should be your parachute in the 3rd round. If you don't get Kelsey in the 1st and you don't get Kittle at the back end of the 2nd, I'll be honest with you, I'd take Darren Waller ahead of Kittle, and that's just me.
I would as well.
Darren Waller's my 2. Kittle's my 3, and it's close, but I would rather have Darren Waller.
Who is your fade for this team?
Kenyon Drake.
It's Kenyon Drake. Okay.
Kenyon Drake's going, to me, Kenyon Drake's a double-digit round pick. Latavius Murray level running back. because he's a guy that, unless something happened to Josh Jacobs, I will never see a path where I could ever start him.
Mm-hmm.
Because his passing down work, he's going to be a really poor man's Kareem Hunt. Where they call him the passing down back, he gets more carries than you think, but it's never enough to sustain. Because I don't think he's as good as Kareem Hunt.
Right.
I don't think the line is as good as the line in front of Kareem Hunt. So to me, he's 60% of Kareem Hunt. You're having to take him, 3 rounds later? I'll pass. Hell, at that point, I'd rather have Trey Sermon, and anybody that's watched the show more than once knows I ain't real high on Trey Sermon.
8th pick in the 8th round is where his ADP is falling.
That's too high for me
right now.
I mean, you're getting Damien Harris right around that. He's ahead of that, but it's close.
He's up 6th round now.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, I finally got him on a website that doesn't use drafts from 4 fucking months ago.
He just doesn't. You don't like Fantasy Pros because they don't use. They only use 3 sources to have their consensus ranking.
Yeah, I need lots of sources.
Yeah,
I don't need some guy at the gas station, somebody that yelled it to you in traffic, and the consensus. I'm good.
It's good. Okay, you realize you're putting one of our employers in that category. ESPN's one of the ones that they use. Mm-hmm. It's ESPN and Yahoo, and I guess maybe their own.
That was the consensus.
Yeah,
that's not the guy at the gas station. That's
okay.
Yahoo.
All right.
Yahoo.
The guy at the gas station is Yahoo. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, I think I've only heard the term Yahoo used at a gas station.
I heard it at the ACC tournament for about 4 straight days.
Like when dude's got his scratcher and Yahoo!
Let me tell the jokes on this show, okay?
2021 Fantasy Fades and Faves. Or I did that backwards. Faves and Fades. It is now time to talk about the Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. I disagree with you on this team so vehemently that.
So vehemently?
Yeah, your fave is the guy that was almost my fade. And I love Cortland Sutton. Mm-hmm. I don't love Cortland Sutton being thrown to by Teddy fucking Bridgewater. You know who I do? Who I do like being thrown to? Noah Fant.
Noah Fant.
I love tight ends with shitty quarterbacks. Is Teddy Bridgewater a shitty quarterback? Noah Fant, a talented, real fast tight end. Touchdown, go Broncos. Mm-hmm. Hey, I actually used it for the Broncos for once.
There you go.
Usually I say that and it's just irrelevant as hell.
It's the one time that fits your narrative. No, my favorite is Cortland Sutton. He missed all of last year with the torn ACL. I mean,
that's part of it for me.
Right.
There's a little injury issue or a little injury fear with me about Cortland Sutton. Mm-hmm. The other part is I don't like outside receivers with Teddy Bridgewater. Like, think about who had the resurgence last year with him.
How much do you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to play? You think he's going to be the starter? Really?
Mm-hmm. I thought he started the whole time.
You don't think they will start the season with Drew Lock and see how it goes?
No. They know how it goes. George Payton has absolutely no skin in the Drew Lock game. None. Mm-hmm. And he brought in Teddy Bridgewater because he's comfortable with him. He knows that at quarterback, they're going to be bad. Probably made the run at Aaron Rodgers. Probably made a little behind closed doors run at Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. He got his hat pooped in and went, oh, well, I'll take Teddy. Damn it.
Oh.
But yeah, I think it's Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't know. I think Teddy is there. Teddy's there as the fail-safe if Drew doesn't perform. I think they will give Drew the opportunity.
I don't, because they've given him the opportunity and George Payton's seen it. Mm-hmm. It's one thing when it's a guy you drafted. It's another when you were inherited the guy.
Very true. But Cortland Sutton had a great year in 2019. Let's not forget that. I think that's one thing that is being forgotten. And to me, he's the guy that I will, when he falls in line in the ADP, I'm going to go, yep, that's the one I want.
He was a very consistent receiver.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I will caution you about, a lot of his big games, in the good 2019 year, came against bad defenses. Mm-hmm. And when he played good defenses like the Bills and the Bears and Houston, who was a good defense at the time, and then Detroit and Vegas, who were middling to bad.
Yeah. He was also the
great.
only weapon that they had that you were scared
That's
of.
the other problem.
And he had Drew Lock in his rookie year.
That's the other problem.
So, I mean, if Drew
Because you're
Lock,
down on Jerry Jeudy, and I'm not.
the only reason I'm down on Jerry Jeudy is because the drops really concerned me last year. A guy only catching, 52 passes out of 113 targets, I feel like that's a bad sign, especially if it's going to be Drew Lock. If Drew Lock is here, they didn't show me anything last year that they have any chemistry or connection to each other. Teddy Bridgewater does bump him up for me, though.
Judy?
Yeah. Because I think
he bumps him up a lot to me.
Right, because Teddy Bridgewater is he's much better than Drew Lock at timing with his receivers. And what does Jerry Jeudy do really, 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 really well?
Run routes.
Run routes. So that's going to matter. I mean, let's not forget that Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina last year did support an offense that had 2 top 24 receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and DJ Moore was one of them. Where does he play out of?
Uh-huh.
Where does Jerry Jeudy play out of a lot? Mm-hmm. The slot. Where does Noah Fant play out of a lot?
The slot.
There you go. Maybe you see a trend.
I do see a trend there.
Curtis Samuel had the best year of his career with Teddy Bridgewater. DJ Moore had arguably the best season of his career. Mm-hmm. To me, it's inarguable, but there are people that would argue that.
And Jerry Jeudy, his ADP right now is like in the 9th round. Mm-hmm. And he's going around the same place as other guys that I really, really like. Laviska Shenault's in that group. Antonio Brown, Devontae Parker, Mike Williams, all those guys are in that group.
I'd rather have Jerry Jeudy than every guy you just said but the first one.
Oh, rather than Laviska. Yeah.
Him and Laviska are damn close to me. Mm-hmm. If you told me that Laviska Shenault and Jerry Jeudy were my 3rd and 4th receiver, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. That's fine for me. Take Laviska in the 8th, Jeudy in the 9th. Yeah, that'll work out just fine.
I have high hopes for this team. I really hope it works out for them. I considered putting the running backs on this list, but at this point, I just don't know what it's going to turn out to be because I got a feeling it turns out to be a split between the two, which makes me kind of fade Melvin Gordon and like Javonte Williams.
I'm fading Melvin Gordon because I'm not sure Melvin Gordon's on this team.
You think he's going to be traded?
I think if I'm the LA Rams and I don't fully believe in Daryl Henderson, that's the one place I go. And they'd give him to you for a bag of balls. Now, you'd pay him? That I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to do some of that Tampa Bay Buccaneer cat magic.
Right.
But my fate on him is under the understanding that he's still with the Broncos. Mm-hmm. I think if he stays in Denver, it would be borderline a 50-50 split with Javonte Williams. And by the end of the year, I would say it's 60-40 Javonte. So I'm out on Melvin Gordon. Now, Noah Fant, on the other hand, the 2 tight ends he's going around. He's going behind one, in front of the other. Care to take a stab at who that is?
No.
Tyler Higbee's going ahead of him. This is according to ADP. And Irv Smith their ADP is the same. I would rather have Noah Fant by a lot. A lot.
All right, 2021 Fantasy Faves and Fades for the AFC West. Recap here, the Kansas City Chiefs.
We only agree on one thing, right. And it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire sucks a lot.
You went spicy with Travis Kelsey. Miko Hardman is my favorite.
Listen here, Austin
ADP.
Eckler, you're not allowed to tell me I went spicy. I'm at least taking a guy in the first round that plays a position you probably never taken in the first round.
No doubt about it. Austin Eckler, though, there's going to be a lot of upside there. I expect him to play a full season with Justin Herbert. That marriage is going to be beautiful. Josh Palmer, you're starting to bring me around on Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer will be the number 2 wide receiver for the LA Chargers before the season's over, and I love him.
We're split on Josh Jacobs. You're faving him. I'm fading him. Kenyon Drake, obviously, that's a big concern. That's the reason for my fade on Josh Jacobs. Finally said something nice about Derrick Carr. I think the upside is huge for him this year. Denver Broncos, big hopes for the offense this year. And in that passing game, it all hinges on the quarterback. But I'm not going to be upset to own a lot of pieces in that passing game.
Yeah, I want one. His name's Noah Fant. And I'm okay with Jerry Jeudy if he falls. Mm-hmm. Javonte Williams is another guy we didn't talk about that we really like the talent. We covered him with the North Carolina Tar Heels. He's a very good player. He was my number 2 running back in this draft class, ahead of Travis Etienne, and I like the fit for him.
I would just take him as a project, though. Expect him to start coming on later in the year.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you got to get to the point where he's the guy.
Exactly. Let me tell you a little bit about the Lawnmower 4.0. You can get one today and save 20% on it at manscaped.com by using our promo code Sportsocracy. Get 20% off of your purchase and free worldwide shipping. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and they are the world champions of men's below-the-waist grooming. It's the one trimmer that I will forever feel more comfortable using to try to spruce up my special parts. And it's got all the high-tech gadgets that you could ever want to make it and like I said, a very comfortable experience and not fear like you're going to bleed to death at the end of the experiment there. They've got the advanced skin-safe technology with the ceramic blade that helps guard you against those nicks and cuts. It's also got wireless charging. Comes with a USB cord. It's the first razor I've ever had that came with a USB cord. And they got a little flashlight as well, so you can hit those parts with precision. 20% off today at manscaped.com using the promo code Sportsocracy, and, of course, free worldwide shipping as well.
It's very cush for the bird in your bush.
We're talking 2021 faves and fades for fantasy football, the NFC West. The Los Angeles Rams are a team that we have high hopes for.
I really hate that there's no Cam Akers.
Cam Akers being gone from this team is definitely going to hurt. They're going to have to find another option.
The only thing we agree on in this whole damn division is Matthew Stafford. Mm-hmm. Where do you have Stafford now in terms of quarterback rankings?
I think he would be 9.
You're too low.
I'm too low?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I had him at 10 before the Akers injury.
Okay.
I would now put him ahead of Brady. I would put him ahead of Justin Herbert, and I would probably put him ahead of Aaron Rodgers. So he's going to be at roughly 7 for me.
Okay.
They're going to throw a shit load.
Yes, they will.
And you can get him at a value that's just far better than any of the quarterbacks in front of him. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to take this year. Because I can get him in a place that I like taking a quarterback and still have the high-end upside. Because I think they're going to have a boatload of scoring plays this year.
His current ADP, according to the fantasy football calculator, is the 11th pick of the 7th round.
I wish that was a little lower. And I think with the Cam Akers news, the public will trend off of him not having Akers because they're going to think that you don't have to stack the box to stop the running back.
That's a mistake.
I don't disagree. Live by the Jeremy methodology of when the public goes one way, you go the other.
Right.
So I think that's going to come down a little bit.
Yeah. Matt Stafford he's a guy that he has a big arm and he's very, very accurate. His true completion percentage, taking out all of the throwaways, is 79.2%. He's a top 10 quarterback when it comes to throwing accurately and throwing the deep ball accurately, especially. Do you know how many passes his wide receivers dropped last year in Detroit?
147,000.
It was 84. He had 84 passes dropped last year by the Detroit Lions. Now, conversely, do you think he is a more accurate, better quarterback than Jared Goff?
More accurate, unless you're talking about crossing routes over the middle, I'll take Matthew Stafford. He's a better quarterback. I still think it's a huge difference everybody makes it out to be.
Okay.
It's just different. It opens up the offense a little bit more because he has a much better deep ball arm. Mm-hmm. The other thing I want you to be very cautious of, he's been a dome guy for a really long time.
True.
And he's been one of those Drew Breesy type guys that domes. We like domes. Just remember that he does have to go to Seattle. He does have to go to San Francisco, which is an odd place to play from what I've been told. You do get Arizona, which is in a dome. Just understand there's gonna be growing pains. I think he will be good by the end of the year, which is when I need him to be good. I need him to be himself until about week 12.
Right. But where I was headed with that Jared Goff thing is if you think that he's better than Jared Goff, which I think most of us do, last year with these same weapons, Jared Goff had 33 passes dropped. That was it. You give Matt Stafford sure-handed receivers, and he's had one or two of those in his career in Detroit. He's never really had a good core like this.
No.
And I think, part of me wants to say that the folks that are getting in on Matt Stafford in the MVP gambling, that might be worth a shot.
I don't hate it as a flyer. I might throwing a dart at it.
Okay. Because I remember when that discussion started in this offseason, you were like, whoa, that's not going to happen. But as time goes on, now you're getting more and more convinced. Exactly.
It's more realistic.
Exactly. Now, my fade is Daryl Henderson.
Because you think the hype on him is going to get ridiculous.
I think it already has. They did a mock draft, a 10-team mock draft on ESPN. And after the Cam Akers injury, he went in the 4th round. To me, that's dumb. Because you don't know what this guy is. I mean, we've seen him be a good substitute in LA. But we haven't seen him get full workload. And everybody seems to be under the impression that they have to add an outside piece. They need somebody else.
They don't seem to agree with you.
The reports coming from the team are that we're all in and we're not, it's a non-starter to talk to Todd Gurley and all of, I've read all of that as well. It's just, I don't know. I don't know that he is going to be the only piece there. They probably will add somebody else, and that would scare me, especially if I'm going to have to take him in the 4th round in a 10-team draft.
It doesn't scare me all that much.
That's too much for me.
It really doesn't. Let me put it this way. Last year, he had more than 12 carries in 4 games.
Okay.
He had 10, 9, 22, and 19. And he had 20 and a half in a game that he had 12.
Mm-hmm.
That's with close to the workload he's going to get here. And other than that, he's never really had games like that in his life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not averse to it. I would rather have him than, say, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I think there's going to be some kind of split with Raymond Calais, a guy that I liked coming into the draft. There's another running back whose name is eluding me right now. Funk is stuck in my head. Is that why
Xavier Jones?
No, there's a running back named Funk on this team.
Yeah, Jake Funk.
Jake Funk. That's why Jonathan Welch said, we want the Funk, got to have that Funk. Now I get it. Now I get it. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to pick another running back on that team, it's Raymond Calais.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that I think when the cream rises to the top, he'll be the second back. I liked him a lot, and I said he was very pro-ready coming in. So.
Right.
I don't think they're as bereft at running back as everybody else does. I think that there is a path to them still being a good running team. And Sean McVay wants to run the ball, whether people believe that or not.
Mm-hmm.
My fade is Cooper Kupp.
Okay, why?
Because I hate where he's going. Name me a slot receiver that's ever been great with Matthew Stafford. I'll wait.
Can't do it.
Name me a tight end that's ever been great with Matthew Stafford. I'll wait.
Brandon Pettigrew.
He broke
7 games.
He broke Eric Ebron. I don't buy it. Matthew Stafford's an outside guy passer, which is why I love Robert Woods and I'm out on Cooper Kupp. I see Cooper Kupp being very Marvin Jonesy, and you're having to take him in the 5th round.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Okay. I was going to say Marvin Jones wasn't bad with Matt Stafford. He was in 5th round.
He was inconsistent as hell, which is what I think you're going to get out of Cooper Kupp.
2021 fantasy fades and faves. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. This is a
Said
team.
it wrong.
What?
Said it wrong.
Excuse me, the best team in the NFC, the Arizona Cardinals.
There you go. Is that so damn hard?
Oh, gosh. We're going to have to do this for another year like we do with the Denver Nuggets.
We have a vehement disagreement on Chase Edmonds.
Yeah. And James Conner is your favorite? Is that what that says?
Are you blind as fuck?
I am blind as fuck.
That's your fade.
Oh, that's mine. Excuse me. I'm getting confused by the colors here.
Stay gold, pony boy.
Stay
that
gold,
help?
pony boy.
You're gold, I'm white.
Okay, so you've got Chase Edmonds as your fade. I see.
Yes.
He's my favorite. I have this blind belief that Chase Edmonds is the running back to have in Arizona.
I don't want any running back in Arizona.
To me, he was when Kenyon Drake was there. I think he's been the more talented running back on that roster for the last 2 years, and he's finally got his opportunity to be the number one guy. I believe that he will live up to every hype that there is out there.
You done?
The best thing is there isn't a whole lot of hype.
And there's a reason.
Yeah, I disagree. And
There's
you
a
can
reason.
get him for a steal.
I don't hate his ADP. He just can't be my fave. You know why?
Why?
2 years with Cliff Kingsbury. How many carries does he have? Total in 2 years.
160.
157. God almighty, you got close to that.
I've looked at his stat lines a lot going, how's this going to happen?
Well, and here's the scary part. 27 of them were in one game. 25 were in another. Cliff Kingsbury has never trusted him for any extended period of time. Ever. It's never happened for more than one game at a time. And now, with James Conner, a guy that has starting experience in the NFL, being brought in here, you think they're just going to blindly give the ball to Chase Edmonds. I don't buy it, not even a little bit. Do I think he's the most talented running back? By a mile. Do I think Cliff Kingsbury's a bad coach? 100% I do. But at the end of the day, none of that shit matters because the guy calling the plays is Cliff Kingsbury. And if you want to take the risk on a guy that may or may not see more than 12 carries a game in the fifth round, sixth round, whatever, more power to you. I'll take him in the eighth. I'll take him as my fourth running back. As a lottery ticket, I'm not taking him where he's going right now.
I'm trying to look at the ADP here where they have him in the most recent.
The last I saw was
12th pick in the 5th round.
I was about to say, the last I saw was the beginning of the 6th.
Yeah.
And I'm just good. You know, looking at the guys that are around him there, I like Damien Harris better. And there's not a whole lot by the time you get there, but he would need to fall for me. Because I'm not taking him over Melvin Gordon. I'm sure as hell not taking him over Mike Davis. There is too many range of outcomes that he ends up as a RB3
With the Cliff
that you
King,
took way too high and you play too many times and he poops in his pants every time you play him.
right.
I'm good.
One thing I will say about him in this Cliff Kingsbury offense, though, is that he is the more versatile of the two backs. And that could have been the thing that was holding him back when Kenyon Drake was in town because Kenyon Drake's that as well. He can be the pass-catching back. He can be all of the things. James Conner's not gonna be targeted in the passing game. And so that can be a huge opportunity for him to get a lot of PPR points this year. I think there's great upside to Chase Edmonds. I will agree with you. There are a couple of guys there in the 5th round, if it comes up and he's there, that I would take ahead of him, but it's not going to be long. It won't take long for me to go, yeah, you let him stay one more round. You let him stay, 2 more rounds. I'm in.
I'm trying to figure out where you got that James Conner can't catch. He's had 35 receptions both of the last 2 years.
Okay.
And last year, his catch rate was 94%.
Who is he competing with?
Jalen Samuels. You know, the guy that played tight end in fucking college?
And who hasn't been done
Anthony
anything
McFarland,
with
who
the
has
Pittsburgh
good
Steelers?
hands. Now, I'm just telling you, if you don't think that there's going to be some passing down work from James Conner, I got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah, I I don't see it.
Yeah, that's not your path to righteousness with Chase Edmonds. If you want to go down this, he's going to be good path. It's that he gets 15 to 18 carries a game, and James Conner is the spellback that comes in and does take the passing down the work. Mm-hmm. Some of it. I mean, this team's going to throw so much that they could sustain 2 pass-catching running backs.
Yep.
But he's going to have – it's not like he's going to have 4 catches this year. I would say James Conner probably – I would say he probably has more catches this year than he did last year.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know about that. And James Conner's my fade because I think
he sucks.
I think
he sucks at football.
Everybody's hinging on what he did 3 years ago. He
well,
scored
here's
12
the one thing I will
touchdowns 3
say.
years ago. In the last 2 years, he's combined for that.
Well, here's the thing. Last year, nobody in Pittsburgh could run at all. Mm-hmm. So there is a possibility that James Conner comes in here and he's the better of the 2 running backs. I don't see the path to that. But there is a path that Cliff Kingsbury believes that. And he's the only one that matters. Mm-hmm. What we think doesn't mean shit. We can sit here and go, Chase Edmonds is such a talented running back. If Cliff Kingsbury doesn't believe it, he's going to be a big old turd burger for you.
Right.
And that's what I'm afraid of, and that's why I'm more or less just avoiding it.
Okay.
He's my fade from this team. You know, James Conner's yours. My fave on this team is a guy that I think I've said this name no less than 406 times.
Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore. He's really, really good. And Larry Fitzgerald, it appears, is not going to come back.
Okay.
I feel like if he was, we would already know that by now. Even if he does, he's a 38-year-old wide receiver, and A.J. Greene breaks every time the wind blows. Mm-hmm. I see a path of Rondale Moore being the 2 in Arizona, and if he is, he's going to be markedly better than the 14th round pick he is right now. He is super talented. He plays bigger than he is. I loved this kid in the pre-draft process. I basically said he's a much more aggressive version of what Randall Cobb was in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. You pair that with Kyler Murray, and you give it to me in the 14th round or 15th round or wherever he's going right now. Yeah, I can deal with that. He's supplanted Christian Kirk. Now, ideally, what I would love to see is A.J. Greene decides, hey, I want to be a coach and not play. And Rondale Moore can be the 2 and Christian Kirk can be the 3. That'd make me real happy.
That's not going to happen.
That'd tickle my pickle a bunch. But it's not going to happen.
No.
So you got to pick one of them, and mine's Rondale Moore.
Mm-hmm. Rondale Moore and A.J. Greene, where are they matched up on the ADP right now?
A.J. Greene currently, by the way, this is one of the reasons I don't use Fantasy Pros. A.J. Greene in Yahoo is ranked 3,178th, I think is the number that I remember seeing.
Okay.
So you can't really take his ADP because he goes undrafted in every Yahoo league.
Right.
Unless you specifically go to find him, he goes undrafted. So, you know, A.J. Greene's undrafted right now. Rondale Moore's about the 14th, 15th round. It's obviously skewed a little bit because of dynasty drafts and shit because he goes so high in those.
Yes.
Rookies are hard to gauge with ADP.
Yeah. I'm going to be all in on Rondale Moore.
I'm all in.
A.J. Greene as well. I'm still holding out hope.
I think he can be
for
fine.
one last pop.
I think he's a draftable wide receiver.
I would agree with that as well.
Looking at current ADPs, I would put A.J. Greene somewhere in the 12th round, about where I'd take him. Mm-hmm. I'd take him over Cole Beasley. I'd take him over Marvin Jones. I would take Darnell Mooney probably over him. Currently, A.J. Greene's his across all platforms ADP is at the very end of the 13th round.
Rob Johnson says Kyler Murray is the RB1 for this team.
I'm fine with that. That's another thing to think about.
He did over 6 yards a carry last year.
That is another thing to think about, though, is that you're hinging on a running back. You got a running back playing quarterback. It just so happens to have a pretty good arm.
Yeah. 2021 Fantasy Faves and Fades. Oh, let's talk about the 49ers.
The San Francisco 49ers.
Fantasy Faves and Fades. I went with Raheem Mostert as my favorite. I think it's just absolutely stupid right now that people are hinging on Trey Sermon.
Trey Sermon's my fade, so you're going to get no disagreement from me. Trey Sermon's going in the fucking 7th round at this point, which is just mind-boggling to me.
Right, and it's only, one round behind where Raheem Mostert's going.
Raheem's going in the 5th as of right now. Best you can expect to get him's in the 6th, which is where I like him. He's not a fave or a fade for me. I like him better than a lot of the running backs that you can get around him, like Chase Edmonds. I'd rather have him than Chase Edmonds. And that's not even, I don't even think it's all that close. I would rather have let's say he gets, the injury issues take hold. I would rather have the 8 games of healthy Raheem Mostert than trying to guess when Chase Edmonds is going to be that guy.
I do like Raheem Mostert better than Chase Edmonds. I will give you that. But he's also a guy that late in the draft, or not late in the draft, late in the running back draft, because those rounds go pretty quickly. He is the guy that you can find the most value in. If he's completely healthy this year and can stay healthy, he's got a very, very high ceiling in this offense.
He does.
Now, your favorite.
Mine's Debo.
Is Debo Samuel.
I love me some Debo. Watch the tape on him. He jumps off the screen as a guy that never catches passes down the field. His yards at the catch is like, it's something dumb as piss. It's like, I think he catches the ball like, on average, 1.7 yards away from the line of scrimmage or some shit like that. Because he catches so many screens and then he turns into a glorified running back. And I love that. Obviously, the one fear with Debo Samuel is health. You told me he was healthy for 17 games. I would say he falls into top 25. Could be top 20. Wouldn't shock me in the least.
All right.
Because he can throw up he's just an electric player. The problem is that you just don't hardly ever see it because he never plays.
Right. My fade on this team is Brandon Ayouk. He's the one guy that I look at his ADP right now and go, there are a whole bunch of wide receivers going in that same spot that I would trust more than Brandon Ayouk. I like the guy. If he falls in the draft, sure, I will take him, but I'm not taking him in the 6th round. To me, that's just too high. And I get that he came on at the end of last year and had a great finish to the year. But you also have to remember he was the only wide receiver that they had at that point.
I disagree with you aggressively.
Debo Samuel was hurt. George Kittle was hurt. And so he got more looks.
I could not disagree with you more.
Okay.
I think Brandon Ayouk is a very good player. I liked him coming out. I watched a lot of film on him at Arizona State. Here's the thing with Ayouk, that he's consistent. I'll tell you another thing that doesn't seem to be registering. They play the easiest schedule for wide receivers in the NFL. There's no schedule in the NFL that's better for a wide receiver than what San Francisco plays, which is why I'm in on Debo. I'm in on Ayouk. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter for, I would say, worst case scenario for 12 of the 17 games. And I think for it not to be that, it would have to go terribly, which I don't see.
But do you think there's a lot of upside? Because right now he's going as a wide receiver 2. And do you
I'm
think
okay with him as a 2.
You're okay with him as 2?
I'm okay with him as a 2. I'm okay with Debo as a 2. Debo's fear is the health. Ayouk's is, I don't know that you're going to get to a point where there's too many mouths to feed in this offense, but I think 3's the limit. And right now you only got 3. You don't have to worry about anybody else on this team. So it's going to be a lot of play action, a lot of 12 personnel, and I'm okay with that. I'm just fine with that. I like Ayouk. I wish he was going a little later than he is, but he's going right around T. Higgins. I'd rather have Brandon Ayouk than T. Higgins. This is not close. Devontae Smith, I'd rather have Ayouk. DJ Chark, Ayouk again. Cortland Sutton. Frankly, there's not a receiver going behind him that I would rather have that guy than Ayouk.
You'd rather have Ayouk than Cortland Sutton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, because I get Jimmy Garoppolo and you get some combination of Teddy Locke or Drew Bridgewater, and I'll pass.
Okay. See, Here's my thing with Ayook. I will just wait. If I think I need another wide receiver and I want a San Francisco wide receiver, let me wait. I'm going to wait 2 rounds and get Debo. Because I don't see a great difference between the two of them, and I do kind of like Debo better.
Michael Whiteside said in the comments that there were – he's a 49ers fan. There were multiple articles out yesterday that expect Lance to start. I've said that for a long time because I can't figure out how in the hell you would give up that much draft capital for a guy you're going to redshirt.
Yeah.
When you're a contender.
Contenders don't usually have top 3 picks, though.
Yeah, because they don't trade up there.
Right.
They don't trade up there to go get them. Look at how much they gave up to get up there.
Yeah.
I've said that for a long time. The narrative inside media circles has become Jimmy's going to be the starter. Mm-hmm. What I thought was going to happen is Jimmy was going to wind up being the backup in New York to Zach Wilson. That's what I thought was going to happen. It's what I kept getting told was going to happen. Because there was such a comfort with LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur.
And the contract's not that onerous if he's traded, on and on and on. Mm-hmm. Doesn't appear that's going to happen. I would say Garoppolo's the starter, and away we go.
Yeah.
I was trying to be spicy with the Trey Lance thing because I'd heard a lot of the same shit.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you give that much up for a guy that you're going to sit for a year, but they appear to. Now, if you told me Trey Lance was the starter Week 1, I take everything back that I said about Deebo Samuel, and I would be hard Peter crew on Brandon Ayook. Brandon Ayook would get into my top 18, 16.
Why?
Because Trey Lance has a cannon. I mean a cannon. And you remember the thing I just said about Deebo Samuel catching balls very close to the line of scrimmage?
Yep.
Okay, you have 2 wide receivers. One's a deep ball guy. One's a DJ Moore type screen pass, drag route guy. I'm not going to like the drag route guy with Trey Lance. I'm going to like the deep ball guy.
All right. I think it's Jimmy Garoppolo as well. If they end up going with Trey Lance, though, I mean, that could throw a lot of things into a whirlwind.
I don't think that's going to happen, but if they did.
Could there still be a trade?
I don't think so. I think if there's a trade quarterback-wise, it's not this. We'll get into that later. Has nothing to do with this division. So.
Right. All right.
I do have to comment on Trey Sermon. Taking him in the 8th round is stupid. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine, but I am the draft guy. I deep dive these guys more than damn near anybody you're ever going to hear. And the Trey Sermon hype has gotten stupid. He's going to be a better real-life football player than he is fantasy football player. You mark my words and remember that I said that. Because he's going to be the spell back to Mostert. He might catch a little bit of receiving work, but I'm going to level with you. Just humor me for a second because I just got to pull up the number here because I accidentally closed it out when I was opening all the other shit. That one. How many targets do you think any running back for the San Francisco 49ers, the most any running back had last year, who was it?
Jeff Wilson?
Nope. Jeff Wilson was 3.
Among running backs? Mm-hmm. With them?
Kyle Juszczyk was 2. Jarek McKinnon was 1.
Him. Jarek McKinnon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The most any running back has had, most targets any running back has had for the San Francisco 49ers since Kyle Shanahan became the damn coach. Because he got there in, 2018? Mm-hmm. Because he didn't have Carlos Hyde.
I think that's right.
I think that's right. This is what happens when I accidentally fuck up and close a window. Kyle Shanahan has been there since 2017. So since 2018, he had Carlos Hyde the first year, who actually did get targets. Since then, the most targets any running backs had in this offense is 40, and it was Kyle Juszczyk. So if you think Trey Sermon's the passing down back, good luck to you. Kyle Juszczyk had 40. Jarek McKinnon had 44 or 42 or something like that last year. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're looking at 2 targets a game. That's what you're drafting in the 8th round. Congratulations. I'm going to keep drafting Damien Harris, who will get 18 touches a game. Mm-hmm. I am Seacrest out on Trey Sermon.
2021 Fantasy Faves and Fades for the Seattle Seahawks. My favorite for the Seahawks is Tyler Lockett.
And he's my fade.
Are we going to fight a lot about this?
Probably.
To me, Tyler Lockett is Russ Wilson can cook. And he's got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett catches a lot of balls. And when he gets catchable targets, he doesn't drop them. He's a guy that I really, really like, and I just think I'm not going to be in on DK Metcalf.
You're
more
wrong.
than likely.
God, you're wrong.
Why?
Jesus, Jehovah, you're wrong on this.
Why?
All right, let's fun game.
I am not. Here's the thing. I'm not. I don't normally take wide receivers that high in a draft anyway. I'm usually ready to take one.
Third round guy. Beginning of the third.
Okay, I'm usually ready to take one about the Tyler Lockett time, about that fifth round.
That's too late. You need at least one by then. And that's coming from a guy that's told you I'm taking a tight end in the first 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. Tyler Lockett in PPR leagues last year had 265.5 points. Mm-hmm. 130 of them came in 3 games. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had 7 single-digit games last year. That's half the damn season. And you're taking him as a 1. I feel that for Tyler Lockett, to me, he is a matchup-dependent, bottom-end wide receiver, too. I much prefer him as a 3. By the way, second toughest schedule in the league for receivers is the Seattle Seahawks. I won't have Tyler Lockett anywhere. And I like him. I like the talent. Problem is now there's a litany of problems. One, you just drafted a guy in the second round with virtually no draft capital. You took a guy in the second round that does the exact same thing Tyler Lockett does.
Dwayne Haskins.
Go fast, don't turn left many times. Because he's the new deep threat. Which means Tyler Lockett's going to work out of the slot as the in-between guy. Mm-hmm. I don't like his life
expectancy.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Going across the middle. Because Dwayne Haskins is the deep guy because he can't do virtually anything else. Mm-hmm. He's a 9-route receiver. And they're going to use him. They took him in the second round for a damn reason. So there is no path that I get to Tyler Lockett. And looking at his ADP right now, holy good Lord. Do you realize that Tyler Lockett is currently going ahead of Deontay Johnson, drunk.
Yep.
Odell Beckham Jr., drunk. DJ Moore, drunk. And then it becomes debatable. I would still take Ayook over him. And I would take Claypool over him. He's right there in that T. Higgins class for me. He's about a 7th-round pick that you're having to take in the back into the 4th, beginning of the 5th. Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm going to let you have that one. Best ball, all the way in. Tyler Lockett, I will, if he's there in the 6th round of a best ball draft, I will just thump her under the table about how happy I am about Tyler Lockett. In terms of a guy, I have to figure out when he's going to have these weeks against this tough of a schedule. Yeah, I'm going to let you deal with that because that sounds like a headache.
I'm all in on Tyler Lockett. I like him. They just and Russ wants him around, and I think he's going to use him a lot.
He wants him around. Here's my problem.
They just paid him a bunch. So.
Yeah, he also had 10 games where he wasn't a startable receiver last year. He was outside of the top 24 at wide receiver 10 of 16 games last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that Bootsy shit. Because what that means is DK is the unquestioned number 1. Mm-hmm. And Tyler's going to be matchup dependent. And I'm good. I love him in DFS. I'll have him probably multiple times in DraftKings, FanDuel, Monkey Knife Fight, all those things this year.
Yep.
I will not have him in season long anywhere.
Okay. Who's your fave?
My fave for the Seattle Seahawks, I went spicy, Russell. I feel like it couldn't be anybody else because I've banged this drum so loud for Russell being drafted too low by comparison to the Justin Herberts, Matthew Staffords, guys like that. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson to me is the unquestioned, undoubtable number 3 quarterback in fantasy football this year. Because I go Pat Mahomes, I go Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson. And I shouldn't have said unquestioned because him and Lamar are close. There is a big drop-off to me after Dak at 5. If I'm going to take an early quarterback, it will be one of those 5. And Russell's the one I'm getting the latest. So I will be all in on him. My fade, or your fade. It wasn't on the screen that time. I at least didn't get confused by the colors.
The colors, yeah.
And I agree with your fade, too. It's Chris Carson.
It's Chris Carson. Yeah.
Chris Carson is going at a level that he doesn't belong in.
Mm-hmm. He is, according to the fantasy football calculator, he's RB19, I think. 16.
Yeah, he's 16.
He's 16. And to me, there's no upside there.
No.
When I'm drafting a guy, I want there to be, I'm going to draft him where I get him and hope that he performs better. There's zero upside for me at RB16 in the third round.
3 or less catches in every game but 2 last year. Mm-hmm. Didn't break 20 attempts, not one time. Touchdowns, yeah, they're cyclical. I mean, he had 4 receiving touchdowns, which is par for the course, or even maybe a little high for him. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. Mm-hmm. For him to get to where he needs to be with the workload he's going to get, by the way, that was with no Rashad Penny. There was no Penny last year, and you were still that.
Mm-hmm. And now they're.
And I think Rashad Penny's going to have a role on this team.
I was going to say, now
and DJ Dallas.
There is a role for Penny now.
Yeah. So I can't. Another one I will have nowhere.
Yep. I will be completely out because the guys that are going around. I mean, I would even.
Michael Watson just had a brilliant idea.
What'd he say?
Can we do a league where Tank and Jeremy select from their list of faves and see which one comes out on top? I know what I want to do. I want to play DraftKings against you, and the only thing we can take are players off our faves list, and we'll do it all year long.
Ooh.
And I'm going to skull rack. I'm going to skull rack you.
I wish I'd have gone spicier with all of my.
Actually, you're going to like it that way. But you're not going to like how I will. There will be weeks that I drag you down the sidewalk. Although I do have a lot of Josh Palmers. So
yeah,
we leveled the playing field pretty aggressively because I have some dart throws that you didn't have.
This is very true. All right, I like this idea.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. The weekly DFS faves and fades contest.
Yeah, we'll basically have a DFS roster that's 32 players. It's the 32 we picked. We can pick from them every week. Mm-hmm. It'll be a segment on the fantasy show. I like that. Michael Whiteside, Kevin Vick, Memorial Bell.
Good idea.
I love genius ideas.
All right, let's recap here the 2021 fantasy faves and fades for the NFC West. We're both in agreement that Matt Stafford is a good value right now. His ADP has gone up a little bit since the Cam Akers thing, but he's got the potential to be an MVP candidate in my opinion. You're fading Cooper Kupp this year. You don't like slot receivers with Matt Stafford. I'm down on Daryl Henderson because
other than Golden Tate, he's never really had a slot receiver that was
right.
And Cooper Kupp's going too high for me.
Mm-hmm. Daryl Henderson, to me, I think they are going to look outside to do something else with that running back position. He's still going to be there, but I don't like him going in the 4th round if that's where you have to take him now that Cam Akers is down for the season.
Yeah, that's I don't love him where he's going, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
The 2 other teams in this division, you're all in on Chase Edmonds and Tyler Lockett, and I'm all out.
Yep.
I can't see getting to them where they're being drafted right now. Conversely, I love Rondale Moore and Russell Wilson on those 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You're down on James Conner and Chris Carson, and I agree with you on both.
2021 fantasy faves and fades for the NFL. We have now covered them all, every division, and we will be putting into motion this DFS idea.
Now, next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be mock draft mania. We're going to do 5 different kinds of mock drafts next week.
Okay.
5 of them.
Okay.
We're going to do a best ball. We're going to do a redraft.
Dynasty.
We'll do a dynasty. We'll do a dynasty.
Super
hard
flex.
because a lot super flex.
Tight end premium.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Premium.
We'll do it over the course of next week. Next week's going to be all the mock drafts. If you have different league rules or anything like that you want to see, we'll be cutting these up, and they'll be going out. Next week, we will probably, and I can't verify this, we might not be live every day next week.
Okay.
We've got some, there's some things going on with the radio show. We're getting ready to start the campaign that we have with the Asheville Police Department. So we've got some things going on. We may not be live every day next week, but we will be on air at 10 a.m. every day next week. So some of them might be cut. If you start seeing a lot of effects, that's not live. If you see a lot of videos and shit that look all cool, yeah, that's not live. So that's the insider intel of, hey, they're not live. So I can say all of the witty, astute, wonderful things, and they will never respond because this was recorded 2 days ago.
All right, so next week, look forward to Mock Draft Mania right here in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to follow, like, and share on all of the social medias. Hit that subscribe button. Share us out with your friends as well. Help us boost those videos out to everybody around the world.
And by the way, if you're a viewer of the show and you want to be involved in those mock drafts, send us a message. We'll because I would like to do some of these not just against computers. Or random ass people. So I'd like to have some living, breathing, tangible humans.
I'm all about doing live mock drafts with the audience during this, so we can definitely make that happen. I get most people are working and doing this at your desk, but if you can invest the time with us, we'd be glad to have you along.
Technically, so are we.
Of course, we will be on the radio live this afternoon at 3 on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And, yeah, like I said, live from the Ingalls studio every afternoon at 3. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the opening of the Olympics. I know you're going to have a whole lot of fun with that.
Come on down to Black Mountain, enjoy a concert with us, and just house a bunch of deuce tall boys.
Yep. Hammering
beers. It's a
living
color, and Hoobastank and Everclear.
Hammering beers and rocking out tonight in Black Mountain at Silverado's for the Summerland Tour. Everclear, Living Color, Hoobastank, and Wheatus on the stage tonight. We will all be there.
Why did you say it like that?
Wheatus? What's wrong with the way I say Wheatus?
Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
Wheatus.
You sound like Stewie from Family Guy. Cool Whip.
Wheatus.
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 Saying it weird.
Wheatus.
Stop saying it weird.
We will see you this afternoon on the radio side and tonight at Silverado's. Get your tickets now at silveradoswnc.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.